Imagine you're a hot air balloon, ready to soar into the sky. As you rise, you feel lighter, freer, until you don't. The ropes tethering you to the ground suddenly tighten, threatening to tear you apart. This is the journey of elevating consciousness, a path less traveled, and for good reason. Welcome to a journey that might challenge everything you thought you knew about spiritual growth and enlightenment, but also give you some answers to the questions you might have been grappling with in silence. We're about to explore why seeking higher consciousness isn't the blissful ascent many believe it to be, but rather a gut-wrenching struggle that can leave you feeling more alone than ever before. Before we dive deeper, let's address the elephant in the room. Terms like ascension, vibration, and higher consciousness have become spiritual buzzwords, often thrown around without real understanding. They've been overused to the point of losing meaning, plastered across social media posts and New Age workshops. But in this video, we're tackling these concepts head-on, exploring their impact on real lives. When we talk about ascension, we're not referring to floating off into the clouds or suddenly becoming superior to others through chanting mumbo-jumbo. It's about expanding your awareness and understanding of yourself and the world around you. Vibration in this context isn't about literal sound waves. It's a metaphor for the overall state of your being, the combined energy of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Think of it as your personal frequency. Low vibration often correlates with fear, anger, or apathy, while high vibration aligns more with love, joy, and peace. As you elevate your consciousness, you're essentially tuning yourself to a higher frequency. And higher consciousness? It's a state of expanded awareness where you're more fully present and connected. It's about seeing beyond the surface-level drama of daily life to recognize deeper patterns and truths. In this state, you're more attuned to your authentic self, more compassionate towards others, and more aware of your interconnection with the world around you. It's not about being better, but about being more awake to the fullness of existence. Now that we've cleared the air, let's explore why this journey is far more challenging than the glossy Instagram posts would have you believe. The common narrative paints spiritual awakening as a serene climb to the mountaintop of enlightenment. But if you're watching this video, you might already feel that it's more like scaling a cliff with your bare hands, every inch gained, threatening to rip you from the face of everything you've ever known. As we elevate our awareness, we stretch ourselves between two worlds, the familiar, comfortable, lower frequencies we're trying to leave behind, and the higher vibrations calling us forward. This often creates an excruciating tension, much like a balloon straining against its moorings. Think of your consciousness as that balloon. The higher you go, the more those old attachments, beliefs, relationships, habits pull at you. They're not just gentle tugs, they're violent yanks, threatening to burst your newfound expansion. It's not a gentle release, it's a painful tearing away. This process challenges our very identity. As we ascend, we begin to see the world through new eyes. Suddenly, conversations that once felt normal now seem alien. The pursuits that drove us before may start to feel hollow. It's as if we've landed on a different planet, surrounded by a language we no longer speak fluently. This disconnect becomes heart-wrenchingly real when it affects our closest relationships. Imagine trying to share your newfound perspectives with your child, only to realize they're operating on an entirely different frequency. You yearn to impart the wisdom you've gained, to protect them from the pitfalls you now see so clearly, but your words seem to fall on deaf ears. The gulf between you grows, not from a lack of love, but from a fundamental shift in how you perceive the world. Or consider your best friend from childhood, the one who knows all your stories, who's been there through thick and thin. As you evolve, you might find yourself struggling to connect over the things that once bound you together. The old inside jokes fall flat, the shared interests no longer resonate, and you're left wondering if it's possible to bridge the gap between who you were and who you're becoming. These scenarios aren't just hypothetical. They're the lived experiences of many on the path of consciousness elevation. It's a journey that can feel isolating, as if you're watching the world through a window, able to see but unable to fully participate in the way you once did. Imagine waking up one day to find that you can see infrared light, but no one around you can. You try to describe the vivid new colors, the hidden warmth you perceive, but your words fall on deaf ears. This is the isolation of elevated consciousness, seeing truths that others can't yet perceive. But here's the thing. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel what you've felt. Once your awareness expands, there's no comfortable way to shrink it back down. You're caught between worlds, understanding both but fully belonging to neither. This is where many spiritual seekers face their greatest test. Do you cling to the familiar, even as it causes you pain? Or do you let go, knowing that release means losing connections to people and things you once held dear? The temptation to keep a foot in both worlds is strong. We want to evolve while keeping everything we love intact, but trying to straddle that divide is like attempting to exist in two dimensions simultaneously. It will tear you apart. Here's the brutal truth. Elevating your consciousness demands sacrifice. Those lower frequency attachments, even the ones that feel loving and important, become unbearably heavy as you rise. Holding on to them doesn't just slow your ascent, it threatens to drag you back down entirely. Think of it like deep-sea diving. As you ascend too quickly, you risk decompression sickness, the bends. Your body, adapted to the pressure of the depth, struggles to readjust. In the same way, rapidly elevating your consciousness without fully releasing old patterns can cause spiritual and emotional turmoil. As you expand your awareness, you start to see your old habits, beliefs, and relationships in a new light. But if you haven't processed and released these outdated patterns, they clash with your new perspectives. This internal conflict can manifest as anxiety, depression, or a sense of being torn between two worlds, the familiar past and the emerging future self. This is why so many people who embark on spiritual journeys describe feeling broken open. It's not just poetic language, it's an accurate description of the soul-deep fissures that form as we stretch between old and new ways of being. But here's the paradox. This breaking is also a breakthrough. It's in those cracks that the light gets in, illuminating parts of ourselves and the universe we never knew existed. The pain of growth is the pain of expansion, of becoming more than we were before. So, what do we do with this knowledge? How do we navigate the treacherous waters of consciousness elevation without drowning in the process? First, we must amp up radical self-compassion. Understand that the discomfort, the loneliness, the feeling of being torn, these are not signs of failure. They are evidence of your growth, your courage to evolve beyond the familiar. Next, we need to reframe our understanding of letting go. It's not about callously discarding people or experiences that no longer serve us. Instead, it's about honoring the role they played in our journey while recognizing that we can no longer remain in that particular chapter of our story. This process requires serious grieving. We must mourn the loss of our old selves, our old certainties, and sometimes our old relationships. This grief is not a step backward. It's a crucial part of integration and healing as we move forward. As we ascend, we must also learn to translate our experiences. Just as a traveler learns to bridge cultural divides, we must find ways to communicate our new understandings in ways that can be received by those still operating at different frequencies. If you're truly ascending, you'll know that this elevation doesn't make you better than others. It simply offers a different perspective. True ascension comes with an inherent humility and a deep well of compassion. You'll understand that your role isn't to drag others up to your level forcibly, but to embody the change you've experienced. By living authentically in your expanded awareness, you naturally inspire others to explore their own potential for growth. Perhaps most importantly, we must find or create communities that resonate with our new vibration. Seek out others who understand the journey you're on. These connections become lifelines when the pull of the old world feels overwhelming. However, it's crucial to approach this step with discernment and awareness. In a future video, we'll dive deep into the potential dangers and pitfalls of getting this step wrong, because finding the right community can accelerate your growth, but aligning with the wrong one can derail your entire journey. The path of consciousness elevation is not for the faint of heart. It will challenge you in ways you never imagined. It will break you open, rearrange your insides, and put you back together in a new configuration. But for those brave enough to endure the journey, the view from the top is beyond anything you could have imagined from the ground. As you navigate this challenging terrain, remember those personal connections we talked about. Your child, your old friend, maybe your partner or your colleague. The pain you feel in those relationships is real, but it's also an opportunity for growth. Your elevated consciousness doesn't mean leaving them behind. Instead, it challenges you to find new ways to connect, to translate your experiences in ways they can understand. It's a chance to practice patience, empathy, and the art of meeting people where they are. So, to those of you feeling torn between worlds, stretch to your breaking point as you elevate your consciousness. Take heart. You are not alone in this journey. Your struggles are not a sign of weakness, but of immense courage and growth. The road ahead may be challenging, but it leads to a version of yourself and a view of the world that is richer, more vibrant, and more authentically you than you ever dreamed possible. Keep climbing, keep expanding, and know that every step forward, no matter how painful, is a step towards your truest self. Remember, true growth isn't about chasing buzzwords or spiritual status symbols. It's about the raw, often messy process of becoming more authentically you. If this journey resonates with you, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more insights that challenge conventional wisdom, and leave a comment about your own experiences navigating the complex terrain of consciousness elevation. Together, we can light the way for others on this extraordinary path. Thank you for watching. This is Ayla, signing off.